Admiral John Carter stood by the large window of Earth Defense Command, his eyes fixed on the giant screen showing a massive ship that appeared near Earth's orbit. The alien ship was huge, 10 times bigger than anything humans had ever built in space. "How long has it been there?" asked John, his voice calm but his hands tight behind his back. "About 20 minutes, sir," said Susan Miller, a young officer at the communications desk. "They just showed up out of nowhere." The year was 2157. Humans had built their first colony on Mars only 30 years ago. The nations of Earth had joined together under the United Earth Government after they found a way to travel faster than light. But human space tech was still very new compared to what they now saw in the sky. "They're sending a message, sir," said Susan, her fingers moving quickly over her screen. "It's in English." John moved closer to the main screen. A voice filled the room. "Greetings, primitive species. You are now subjects of the Galactic Vuldarian Empire. Prepare for integration." The room went quiet. 50 of Earth's top military minds looked at each other with worry. "They're sending smaller ships toward Earth," said Officer Peter Douglas, who watched the radar. 5. No, 7 ships headed to major cities. John had fought in the Mars Uprising 10 years ago. He knew danger when he saw it. These aliens did not come in peace. They came to take over. "Get me the UAG Council," he ordered. 5 minutes later, John was talking to the world leaders. They argued about what to do. Some wanted to welcome the aliens. Some wanted to wait. Nobody wanted to fight. "We don't have time for this," John said finally. "Those ships will reach our cities in less than an hour." The council head, a woman from Brazil, shook her head. "We need to be careful, Admiral. We don't want to start a war with an advanced alien race." John looked at the screen showing the alien ships getting closer to Earth. He made a decision that would change human history forever. "Lieutenant Gray," he said, turning to his weapons officer, "prepare the U.S. Defiant to fire the quantum torpedo." Gray looked shocked. "Sir, that's just a test weapon. We've never used it in real battle. And we never will if we let these aliens take over our planet," John replied. "Do it." Against direct orders from the UEG Council, John commanded the experimental destroyer U.S. Defiant to fire Earth's newest weapon. The quantum torpedo shot through space, a small but powerful weapon that humans had only just invented. The alien ship shields were made to stop energy weapons far more advanced than Earth's, but they had no defense against this simple kinetic weapon. The torpedo hit the main command center of the big ship. The alien vessel shook. Parts of it broke off. Lights across its surface went dark. Slowly, it began to move away from Earth, heading to the edge of the solar system. "Sir, they're sending another message," said Susan, her voice shaking with excitement. The alien commander's face appeared on screen. He had green scales and yellow eyes filled with anger. "You primitive insects, do you realize what you've done? The Empire spans 10,000 worlds. Your extinction will be swift." John stood tall and spoke clearly. "This is Admiral John Carter of Earth. Let me make something perfectly clear. Earth is not accepting visitors from your empire. Try again, and we won't stop at damaging your ships. Consider this our declaration. No Galactic Empire ships allowed in Earth space." The alien's face disappeared from the screen. The damaged ship continued moving away, leaving Earth's orbit. "What happens now, sir?" asked Susan. John looked at the stars beyond the window. "Now we prepare. They'll be back. And next time, they'll come ready for a fight." 6 months passed since the alien ship left. Earth was busy getting ready for war. Dr. Olivia Ross worked in a big lab deep under the Nevada desert. The room was filled with strange metal pieces. These were parts from the damaged alien ship that had fallen to Earth after the attack. Olivia wiped sweat from her face as she looked at a shiny device under her microscope. She had not slept much in the past week, but she didn't care. This work was too important. "How's it going?" asked a deep voice. Olivia looked up to see General Frank Peterson standing in the doorway. He was a tall man with a serious face. He never smiled. "I found something big," she said, pointing to the alien device. "The way they talk to each other across space is amazing. They use something called quantum entanglement." Frank looked confused. "What does that mean for us?" "It means we can listen to their messages if we get this working," she explained. "But that's not all. Their weapons have a weakness. They stop working when hit with certain electromagnetic waves. Because no advanced race would use such simple methods," said a new voice. Nathan Wright walked into the lab. He was in charge of talking to the 3 alien prisoners who survived the battle. They were being kept in a secret place. "The aliens told us they win their battles by scaring other species," Nathan said. "Most give up as soon as they see the big ships. They've never met anyone who fought back." Frank looked worried. "How many ships are coming next time?" "A battle fleet," said Nathan. 27 warships. They'll be here in about 4 months. Olivia turned back to her work. "Then we have 4 months to learn how to use their own tech against them." High above Earth, in the new space station, Commander William Hayes watched his pilots train. They flew small, fast ships built with some of the alien technology. "Again," he shouted as half the pilots' ships got destroyed in the training game. "The aliens won't give you a second chance. We need to be perfect." The pilots, tired and frustrated, reset their training units and started again. They knew what was at stake. On the ground, people tried to live normal lives. Some built underground shelters. Others joined the Earth Defense Force. Everyone watched the sky with worry. UEG President Laura Garcia spoke to the world on TV. "We face a threat unlike any in human history, but we will not give up. We will not become slaves. We are humans, and we will fight for our home with everything we have." Back in the lab, Olivia made a breakthrough. She figured out how to make the alien shields work on human ships. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than nothing. "Will it be enough?" asked Frank when she showed him. "I don't know," she answered honestly. "But we have other tricks too." Nathan came in with new information from the alien prisoners. "The Voldarians think we got lucky last time. They think we're primitive and scared. They expect us to surrender when we see their big fleet." Olivia smiled for the first time in weeks. "Good. Let them think that." In his office at Earth Defense Command, Admiral John Carter looked at the plans for Earth's defense. 100 human ships against 27 alien warships. The odds didn't look good, but the human ships now had new weapons, new shields, and brave crews. "Sir," said Susan Miller as she entered his office. The long-range sensors picked up something. "The alien fleet has entered our solar system. They'll be here in 3 days." John nodded. "Tell everyone to get to their stations. It's time." All across Earth, people looked up at the night sky. Somewhere up there, an enemy was coming to take their world. But this time, Earth was ready to fight back. The quiet time was over. The storm was about to begin. The alien ships appeared exactly when Nathan had predicted. 27 huge warships jumped into space just past the moon. Each one was filled with weapons that made Earth's best guns look like toys. Admiral John Carter stood on the bridge of Earth's biggest ship, the UEG Intrepid. This ship now had shields made from alien tech that Dr. Ross had fixed. Around the Intrepid, 100 smaller Earth ships moved into fighting positions. "They're calling us, sir," said Susan Miller from her seat at Communications. John nodded. "Put them on screen." A tall alien with silver scales appeared on the big screen. He had yellow snake-like eyes and no hair. He was the fleet commander of the Voldarian ships. "Humans," the alien said in a cold voice, "this is your last chance to give up. Bow to the Empire, or we will destroy you all." John smiled a little. "We've been waiting for you. Maybe you didn't hear us last time. Let me say it again. No Galactic Empire ships allowed in Earth space. Leave now, or we will make you leave." The alien's eyes narrowed. "You have made your choice. The screen went dark. Then the alien ships began to fire. Giant beams of energy shot toward Earth. The sky lit up like day, even though it was night in this part of the world. Some beams hit Earth's new shields, while others aimed at the human ships. All ships follow the plan. John ordered into his radio. Don't try to match their power. Use what we practiced. Earth's smaller ships zoomed between the huge alien vessels. They were faster and could turn quicker. They got close to the alien ships and fired special weapons that Dr. Ross had made. These weapons sent out electromagnetic waves that messed up alien systems. "ECM weapons working," shouted Lieutenant Kevin Reeves from his control panel. "Their shields are going down on 3 ships." The space around Earth filled with explosions and light as the battle grew. Human ships were smaller and weaker, but they had trained for this exact fight. The aliens had more power, but they were surprised by Earth's new technology. "Sir, we just lost the Ottawa and the Beijing," reported an officer. 4 more of our ships heavily damaged." John knew they would lose ships. The plan wasn't to win by having bigger guns. The plan was smarter than that. "All ships, do move Delta now," John ordered. The Earth ships began to pull back, looking like they were running away. The alien ships followed, eager to finish the fight. "They're taking the bait," Susan said, watching her screen. John waited until the alien ships were in exactly the right spot. Deploy the quantum mines. Hundreds of small black objects that had been hidden in space suddenly lit up. These were special bombs that Dr. Ross had designed using the alien technology. They could pass right through the alien shields and stick to their ships. The mines exploded one after another. 11 Voldarian ships blew up completely. 8 more lost power and weapons. The aliens had fallen into Earth's trap. The remaining alien ships started to turn around. They were running away. "Sir, they're leaving," Kevin shouted with excitement. Cheers broke out across the bridge of the Intrepid. People hugged each other. Some cried with relief. But John didn't smile. His face stayed serious. "Track where they're going. Make sure they leave our system." Susan looked at him. "Do you think they'll come back?" John nodded slowly. "Yes, with more ships. But now they know we're not easy to beat, and we'll be ready for them again." Outside the windows of the Intrepid, Earth still turned peacefully below. For now, it was safe. The Battle of Earth was over. But John knew this was just the beginning of a much bigger war. 2 months passed after the Battle of Earth. The planet was safe for now, but everyone knew the aliens would return. Nathan Wright stood in front of the UEG Council in their meeting room in Geneva. Maps and pictures of space showed on screens around the room. "We can't just wait for them to come back with more ships," Nathan said firmly. "Our spies tell us their closest big base is at Proxima Centauri. That's within our new jump range." President Laura Garcia looked around at the other council members. "Admiral Carter, what do you think?" John Carter had been looking at the reports from Dr. Ross. She had made great progress with the alien faster-than-light technology. "Attacking first is risky," he said. "But waiting is even more risky. The Voldarians won't underestimate us a 3rd time." The room was quiet as everyone thought about this. Then Laura nodded. "We'll do it. Operation Distant Thunder is approved." 3 days later, Earth's 3 best warships, Intrepid, Valiant, and Dauntless, prepared to jump to Proxima Centauri. They had Earth's best crews and newest weapons. Commander Daniel Wilson, who had just been promoted after fighting bravely in the Battle of Earth, was in charge of the ground team. His job was to sneak into the alien base, plant bombs in important systems, and steal any useful information. "This isn't just about hitting back," Daniel told his team as they checked their gear. "It's about showing them that Earth isn't weak. Earth fights back." The 3 ships jumped to Proxima Centauri, appearing behind a gas giant planet to hide from alien sensors. The Voldarian base was a huge space station orbiting the 4th planet. It was busy with ships coming and going as the aliens prepared to attack Earth again. Daniel's team flew to the station in special shuttles that used Dr. Ross's technology to avoid being seen. They moved through the station like shadows, placing bombs and downloading important data. "Sir," whispered Sergeant Lisa Chen as they reached the main control room. "Look at this." On a big screen, they saw maps showing hundreds of planets. Each one had been taken over by the Empire. Whole species had lost their freedom, their resources stolen, their people forced to work for the Empire. "Download everything," Daniel ordered. "Earth needs to see this." As they headed back to their shuttles, alarms finally went off. Vuldarian security troops ran toward them, but it was too late. The human team was already leaving, and the bombs were counting down. From the bridge of the Intrepid, Admiral Carter watched as parts of the Vuldarian base exploded one after another. They didn't destroy the whole base. That wasn't the plan. But they damaged it enough that it wouldn't work for months. "Send the message," he ordered. Susan Miller nodded and pressed a button. Across all Vuldarian communication channels, in their own language, a simple message played. "Earth is off limits to the Galactic Empire. This is your final warning." The 3 Earth ships prepared to jump back home. Their mission was complete. "Do you think they'll listen this time?" Susan asked. John looked at the damaged alien base on his screen. "No, but now they know we can hit them anywhere. And more importantly, other species will hear about this." Daniel's team returned to the Intrepid, bringing the stolen data with them. As they jumped back to Earth, Daniel looked at the stars streaking past. What did we just start? He wondered. None of them knew it yet, but their bold attack had lit a spark that would soon spread across the galaxy. On dozens of worlds ruled by the Empire, word would soon spread. Earth had fought back, and won. A whisper of hope was beginning to grow. News traveled fast across the Vuldarian Empire. A small young species had not only fought off an Imperial fleet, but had attacked an Imperial base directly. Nothing like this had happened before. On many planets that the Empire controlled, people began to whisper, if Earth could stand up to the mighty Vuldarians, maybe they could too. On the Vuldarian home planet Zoltherix, Emperor Vexmore was very angry. He stood in his throne room, smashing items around him as his advisors watched in fear. "One tiny world dares to challenge us," he roared. "Get every ship we have. We will destroy these humans and make an example of them." High Counselor Drex, the oldest of the Emperor's advisors, stepped forward carefully. "Great Emperor, these humans have shown they are more clever than we thought. And now we have reports of unrest on 17 planets. Perhaps we should try talking to them instead." The Emperor wasn't listening. He had ruled through fear for hundreds of years. He would not change now. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Olivia Ross made another big discovery. Looking at the data from the Proxima base, she found evidence of other species that had tried to fight back against the Empire. She also found a hidden network where these species talk to each other. "Look at this," she showed Nathan Wright. "There's a whole secret resistance movement inside the Empire. They just needed someone to give them hope." Nathan immediately saw what this meant. If we could talk to these resistance groups. President Garcia quickly approved a new mission. Earth would send small, fast ships that could avoid Imperial patrols to contact possible allies. Commander Alice Bennett was chosen to lead the mission to contact the Krell, an advanced species whose world had been taken by the Empire 100 years ago. Her ship, the Swift Messenger, was small but had the best stealth systems Earth could make. "We're not trying to start a galactic war," Garcia told Bennett before she left. "But we need friends if we're going to survive what's coming." Bennett's mission almost failed when her ship was spotted by an Imperial patrol near the Krell homeworld. As Vuldarian soldiers prepared to board her ship, something unexpected happened. Krell fighters appeared from nowhere and attacked the Vuldarians. Later, in a hidden base deep under the surface of the Krell planet, Bennett met with the Krell resistance leader. "We've been listening to Imperial messages," explained the Krell leader, a tall blue-skinned being named Zora. "We know what you did at Earth and Proxima." We've been waiting for someone like you for a very long time. Bennett smiled. Then let's talk about how we can help each other. Over the next few months, Earth sent more secret missions to other worlds. Each time, they found species who had been waiting for a chance to fight back. Some had better technology than Earth. Others had special abilities or knowledge of Imperial weaknesses. On Zoltherix, Emperor Vexmore was getting more bad reports every day. Imperial ships were being attacked. Supply lines were being cut. Planets were openly rebelling. How is this happening? He demanded. High Counselor Drex looked at the star map showing all the trouble spots. It seems the humans have been making friends, Great Emperor, many friends. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Then we must strike now, before they grow stronger. Prepare the Grand Armée. Every ship we have. We will crush Earth once and for all. As the Empire began gathering its forces, Earth and its new allies prepared for the coming storm. Ships from a dozen worlds practiced fighting together. Technology was shared. Plans were made. The galaxy was changing, and it had all started with a simple declaration. No Galactic Empire ships allowed. 1 year after first contact, the Voldarian Grand Armada arrived at Earth. 200 massive warships, including the Emperor's own flagship, appeared around the planet all at once. They formed a giant sphere around Earth, ready to fire from all directions so no one could escape. But Earth was ready. And this time, they weren't alone. As the Imperial ships prepared to fire, 50 ships of Krell design suddenly appeared among them, seeming to come from nowhere. From the other direction came a fleet of Novan ships, which looked like giant living creatures. And from Earth itself launched not just human ships, but new vessels built with technology from many alien friends. Emperor Vexmore's voice boomed across all communication channels. This pathetic group of rebels changes nothing. Your defiance ends today. Admiral Carter, commanding the combined defense fleet from the new Earth flagship Determination, replied simply, "We told you not to come back." The battle that followed would later be called the Liberation of Sol. The Imperial forces had more ships, but faced enemies who had spent a year getting ready to fight them. Dr. Ross's discoveries let Earth ships disrupt the Voldarian command network. The Krell provided shield technology that changed to block enemy weapons. The Novan's living ships could heal damage quickly. Still, the Empire's weapons were very powerful. Earth's space stations were destroyed. The moon base was gone. 3 continents suffered attacks before the planetary shields fully activated. The tide of battle turned when Commander Daniel Wilson led a daring mission to board the Emperor's flagship. While the space battle raged, his mixed team of humans and allies snuck onto the massive vessel and fought their way to the command center. Emperor Vexmore, Daniel announced as they broke into the bridge, "Your reign of terror is over." The Emperor, who stood 9 feet tall in his battle armor, rose from his throne. "You think this ends with me, human? The Empire has stood for 10,000 years. It will stand for 10,000 more." "Maybe," Daniel replied, "but not with you leading it." The Emperor moved faster than any human could react. But Daniel wasn't alone. A Krell warrior jumped in front of him, taking the Emperor's attack. The brave Krell died, but gave Daniel the chance he needed. The Emperor fell, not to advanced technology, but to a simple human weapon, a pistol. With the Emperor dead and their command network broken, the Imperial forces began to retreat. The Battle of Sol was over. Earth had survived. On the bridge of the Determination, Admiral Carter watched the remaining Imperial ships jump away. "We did it," said Susan Miller, standing beside him. "We actually won." John shook his head. "We survived. But the Empire still controls most of the galaxy. This war is just beginning." On Earth below, people came out of shelters to see the sky filled with friendly alien ships. For the first time, humans realized they weren't alone in fighting for freedom. President Garcia, speaking from an underground bunker, addressed the planet. "Today, we have won a great victory, not just for Earth, but for all species who desire freedom. The Voldarian Emperor is dead. The Grand Armada is defeated, but our work is not done. In orbit, Commander Wilson stood on the observation deck of the Determination, looking down at Earth. Parts of the planet still burned from the attack, but it was still there, still free. "What happens now?" asked a young officer beside him. Daniel smiled. "Now we take the fight to them." The Battle of Sol was over. Earth had survived its greatest test. But the war to free the galaxy from Imperial rule was just beginning. 6 months after the Battle of Sol, leaders from 27 different species gathered on Earth. They met in the newly built Unity Hall in Geneva to form the Galactic Cooperative. This wasn't an empire or a kingdom, but a group where all members would work together and protect each other. President Laura Garcia stood before the gathered aliens and humans. Some had tentacles, some had scales, some had blue or green skin. They all shared one thing: a desire for freedom. "The road ahead will not be easy," she said. "The Empire still controls many worlds. Loyal Vuldarians still fight in the dead Emperor's name. But together, we have shown that freedom cannot be stopped, not by bigger ships, not by better weapons, not by fear." Admiral John Carter stood at attention as each species signed the agreement. He thought back to that first day, when he made the quick decision to fire on the alien ship. "Never thought we'd end up here," Susan Miller, now his chief of staff, said quietly beside him. "No," John agreed, "but I'm proud of where we are." In space above Earth, ships from the new cooperative prepared for their first mission together, to free the Arcturian homeworld. Commander William Hayes would lead the Earth ships, working with Krell, Novan, and other Allied forces. "Nervous?" asked his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mary Johnson. Hayes shook his head. "Not with this team. Not with these friends." Dr. Olivia Ross watched from her lab as the fleet gathered. She had just finished a new weapon system that combined technology from 3 different species. She hoped it would save lives in the coming battles. Nathan Wright entered the lab with news. "The Vuldarian Empire is splitting apart. Without the Emperor, different leaders are fighting each other for control. Some worlds are declaring independence." Olivia smiled. "That will make our job easier." "Maybe," Nathan said, "but we still have a lot of work to do." On the other side of the galaxy, the remaining Imperial forces were regrouping. A new Vuldarian leader had taken control of the largest faction. He looked at reports of the growing cooperative with concern. "These rebels must be crushed," he told his officers. "Prepare a new fleet." But his High Admiral looked worried. "Sir, we've lost 23 more worlds this week. Our forces are spread too thin. And now the humans and their allies are attacking our key bases." The new leader slammed his fist on the table. "We ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We cannot lose to these primitives." But they were losing. Day by day, the cooperative grew stronger. As the cooperative fleet prepared to jump to the Arcturian system, a final message came from Earth Control. It was broadcast on all frequencies, meant not just for their own ships, but for any Imperial forces who might be listening. "The galaxy has changed. The time of empires is over. From now on, every world, every species chooses their own path. And Earth remains off-limits to any who would threaten freedom." That's not just a declaration anymore. It's a promise. The fleet jumped away in a flash of light, heading to bring freedom to another world. Back on Earth, people were rebuilding their damaged cities. Children in schools now learned about alien friends and the stars that humans would one day visit. Earth was no longer alone in the universe. John Carter stood by the window in his office, looking up at the stars. "We did it," he whispered to himself. "We stood our ground." Earth's declaration had changed the galaxy forever. And this was just the beginning. **The End*.